What's up guys, it's Nick here, and today we're going to talk about a couple quick, cheap and easy modifications that you can do to your E90, E92 BMW. We're to give it more of an OEM Plus look, make it look a little bit more updated and a little bit cleaner. Now, one of the great things about this platform is that there's a huge aftermarket for it. Whatever you want to do to the car, there's going to be a company that's going to make the parts in order for you to do it. But today we're going to focus on some smaller cosmetic things that you can start out with that are pretty easy to make the car look a lot better. Also, what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to have a link for each of the products that I either talk about or have on my personal car. I'll have that link down in the description below. So if you're interested in any of these, you want to see how much they cost, where you can buy them, just check out that description and I'll make sure to have everything there for you. Now, the first couple of things that we're going to talk about are going to be steps that you can take to start getting rid of some of the chrome that comes on these cars from the factory. In my opinion, and a lot of people who modify these cars get rid of the chrome because it kind of gives it more of a dated look. So the first part that you can get rid of is the obvious one. It's the front grills. This is what most people do. It's probably the first mod that most people do. And it looks a lot better when you go to either a gloss or a matte black for these grills. The chrome just doesn't mesh with the car well. Now, these grills are really easy to replace. They come with tabs along the inner edge that just clip into the bumper itself. So there's not much you have to do. All you do when you have the old ones on there is you kind of reach in behind here to put your finger on those tabs, pop them out, and then you take the new ones and you just slide them right on and push it in, make sure the tabs are in, and then you're done. Now, there's a bunch of different things that you can do with the grills. You can go black, you can go carbon fiber if you want to do that. You can get like the M colors on the different slits of the grills. There's a lot of different styles. Whatever your personal taste is, go for it, try it out. Now, since there are so many different options for what you want to do with these grills, there's a lot of different places that you can get them from. What I ended up doing is I actually found a cheaper pair on eBay, and I gambled on it with eBay. It can be hit or miss whether it's going to work for you or not. But I took the risk and it worked out pretty good. The clips that snap into the bumper, it took a little bit of work to get them to snap in properly, but they're on there and they've worked perfectly fine and they look pretty good. So I don't know, I would recommend trying to see if you could source a cheap pair before spending probably close to $100 to get a legit pair. So the next thing we'll talk about is this window trim here. So unless you have the M Sport package, this trim here is going to be chrome from the factory. Now, this car has the M Sport package, so it does have what BMW calls the black shadow line trim, which was really nice for me. But if it didn't have it, I would have made it black anyway. Most of the ones that you see will be chrome. So what a lot of people end up doing is they'll take it to a wrap shop because there's no easy way to pop this off and then put on a different color piece. But you can pretty easily go to a wrap shop and they'll wrap this black for you, and it definitely gives it a more updated, a little bit of a sharper, more aggressive look than having the chrome all the way around the windows. So next up is this reflector right here. So I've already changed it out, but from the factory this is actually going to be orange, and it really doesn't look good when it's orange. There's no other orange on the car. I believe it's required by law to be orange from the factory, so that's why they do it. But it's a real easy thing to swap out. There's a couple different options for swapping it out. You can go, I believe IND is the company that makes color matched, paint matched reflectors for this piece, and you go online to their website and you select what color your car is, and they'll paint it and send it to you, and then it will all look uniform, one color. I'm eventually going to do that a little bit later on down the line, but for now I found these real cheap on Amazon. Hardly spent any money on them. They're black. They look significantly better than the orange, and they kind of work with the whole gray and black theme that I'm going for on this car right now. These guys are really easy to replace, which is pretty cool. They really just stick in from the back, and around this edge of it, it's just adhesive. So what you do is you just heat up the old one, either with a heat gun, or if you have to use a hair dryer, that'll probably work too. You heat it up, loosen up the glue, and you'll be able to pry it off from the back here, and then you take off the protective covering for the new one and just stick it on there. You just want to make sure that it's all clean, it's going to stick well. Yeah, really easy to do. You don't even have to take the wheel off or anything like that. So in keeping with the whole gray with black accents theme, the next thing that I did was replace these turn signals that are on the front fenders. This is actually the turn signal that I took off of the car, and you can see it has the clear housing that kind of yellows in the sun. It has the orange bulb in the middle there, and it's actually a halogen bulb for some reason. Most of the lights on this car are LED, but they decided to use halogen for this. So I replaced it with this piece here, which looks significantly better. It's got the tint, it matches the front reflector over here, it works really well with the car, and it's also an LED. This is what it looks like when it turns on. So good looking LED, looks a lot better than the original stock one. And this was real cheap. I found these on Amazon for a great price. And you can actually also find them on Amazon where they're sequential, and the lights will move in a line as the turn signal is on. One other thing for the exterior of the car, it's window tints. In my opinion, these cars look so good with a little bit of window tint. So the window tints that I have are 20% tints. 20% tint is sort of like the factory tint that you'll get on like the rear hatch of an SUV or something like that. That's how it comes from the factory. You'll never have front windows tinted from the factory, but these were all done at that 20% tint level. Depending on where you live, that might be legal or not. Every state has different laws on what windows you can tint, to what extent it can be tinted. These are technically not legal where I live, but they're not so dark that I have problems with them. I've never had a cop, when I've been pulled over, say that it was an issue, and they look really, really good. So that finishes up everything that I really wanted to talk about on the exterior of the car. As you can see, and like I was saying, I'm really going for that gray with black accents look, and you're not getting the full effect right now because it is winter time here, and I do have these ugly silver winter wheels and tires on here. In the summertime, I have much better looking rims. I have a avant-garde gloss black M359 rims with some good summer tires on there. And with the gloss black rims, all the black accents on the outside, it looks really, really good. So now moving to the interior of the car, there's just two more things that I wanted to talk about. The first being the steering wheel. Now this, because it's an M Sport car, is the M Sport steering wheel. So my first recommendation is going to be, if you don't have either the Sport package or the M Sport package, and you have the base steering wheel, look into getting a different wheel. The base wheels on these cars, if you don't have any of the Sport packages, it doesn't really look very good, and it doesn't really feel very good. You can find either a Sport or an M Sport upgraded wheel pretty easily, whether it be on the forums or if you buy it new online. So I would definitely recommend wanting to have at least either the Sport or the M Sport wheel. Now also what you can do with the wheel, and what I've done here, is I've gotten a carbon fiber trim piece to go around, and I think it looks really, really good, really, really clean, especially on the M Sport wheel where you have the perforated leather on the sides and then you have the nice carbon fiber weave in the middle. It comes together really, really well. This piece is the original piece that came, the original trim piece that was on the wheel, and it looks good. It's like a matte plastic, so it looks decent, but when you put that carbon fiber on here, it really sets it off, and it really, really gives your interior and the wheel, the thing that you're holding and looking at the most while you're in the car, a nice, updated, sleek, clean look. Now the last thing that we'll talk about is your interior trim. On this car, I'm not going to be doing anything to it. This car came with this really cool waffle pattern aluminum trim all throughout the car, center console, up on the dash, as well as on each of the doors. A lot of these E90, E92s come with a glossy wood grain trim, which it's kind of signature BMW. They've had that wood grain trim for so long on so many of their cars, and at this point, it looks pretty outdated. So what you can do is you can either wrap this trim, or you can go on the forums, go online, and get a whole new interior replacement. There's a lot of cool things you can do with it, from going fully custom, getting whatever design you want printed on there. You can wrap it, you can do these really cool carbon fiber looks, and it's a really great way to update your interior. So that's about it. That's a good list of some really easy, relatively cheap starter mods for these cars. Cosmetically, you put them all together and the car starts looking really good really quickly. So let me know what you think. Let me know what your favorite easy mods are, what you started with, what you changed first, and stay tuned for more content coming on the E92. All right, thanks guys. Peace. Damn, man. Who hurt you, man? Who did that to you? Jeez, there ain't any amount of mods that's gonna fix that face, man. You ugly.